So what makes me a good grant writer? Musicians are very detail oriented to the millisecond. I can play in unison with anybody. We also are on time. We also care about time. We practice a lot and are very self-disciplined. We understand the customer and what the customer wants, because we're always trying to improve and make ourselves better. Musicians never look at what they're doing well. They only look at what is not right. And so you have trained eyes to see and to know what isn't good about your proposal. So you're really good at making it better, every time making it better and better, hooking the reader, hooking them into wanting to fund you, creating all the reasons why they would fund you, and then putting them into your proposal. It's actually a work of art that you create when you finish the proposal. The goal is to influence a stranger to give you money to do a project that you want to do. So it's a pretty big achievement. We also are high risk. We take very big risks. And for instance, you're all invited to hear me on the featured soloist at the Phillips Performing Arts Center with the Gainesville Community Band on November 12th. And I'm going to be playing a very difficult theme and variations by Weber. So you're invited to hear my music. If you want to come, it's free. November 12th at 7 o'clock. So high risk, yes. Not afraid. Here's my information about my company and what I did since '95, and now I'm here at the University of Florida. So, does that help? Give you an idea? And you have to be able to work with people, and you have to be able to work with data, and you have to care about both. Because if you're not a people person, you can't do this work, because you're not going to be working by yourself. I have 10 minutes. Should I just stop, or should I keep going through this? How is grant writing different from proposals? Let me go through. How do I get to our home page? Our funding page. Here we go. So under articles, there's a really good article down here. Why academics have a hard time writing good grant proposals. And in this, there's a great chart. This is the difference between writing an academic paper and writing a grant. And I think this has really been useful to anybody who wants to see the difference. How do you find funders? So now we're getting to the end. You can, if you looked here, we are organizing funding archives of information about what's available. So if you go to here, you see these are all the grants that are available for libraries in an index that we've created. Actually, Suchi is my assistant, graduate assistant, and she looks for these. Here's a NHP, National Historic Preservation and Records Council, I think that stands for, or close to it. An application, what the guidelines are, etc. And then here's a link. So the different ways that you find sources is obviously through Google. The Foundation Center Library has an excellent directory for foundations. If you pay $19.95 a month, they will give you access to the database at the Foundation Center Library. So for government grants, you want to go to grants.gov to look for funding I think that's the easiest way to find them all, right, Suchi? And you can ask for a subscription to get updates on specific disciplines or agencies. For non-government grants, for foundation grants, the Foundation Center Online directory, and just subscribe to it. And do I have time? I have 5 minutes, but I'm not sure, or a little bit more. So let's try to go there so I can show you foundation.
I'm sorry, what was the website again for private?
Yes, I'm going to, now,
Oh,
Foundation Center Library, online. Online, it's called Directory Online. And Suchi, do you want to log in? I have the login password. Not sure how you log in, but that's the main page. Do you remember? So you get your individual password and log in once you're a subscriber. So since Suchi's the professional researcher, it's a lot easier for her. So we want to search grants. So grant. So you can search by any of these fields. What's really fun is to search your competitor. So you can search, let's say, why don't you put in, so recipient name. Why don't you put Norton Museum? And let's just see, Florida. Okay, so now you have a list of the funders for the Norton Museum of Art.
Great.
That are foundations. And it gives you the year, it gives you the foundation, and the amount. That's pretty cool, don't you think?
Yeah. Can you go back to the foundation to find out what the grant was for?
You can, no.
Okay.
The best thing to do is to go to GuideStar and get the 990 for the year that the grant was made. And then look through the 990. Do you want to pull up the 990 for one of those foundations? Or do you have a way to do that? Oh yeah. Okay. You can pull up the 990 through the Foundation Center Library, or you can do it through GuideStar. I think so. No. You want to go back? You can go to the Foundation directory online, since we're. Yeah. Yeah. So you can do it through there. Okay. It could be. I'm wondering how. There's a way to get to the 990 from here. Yeah. Doesn't give you a choice. Okay, you have to go back, I think. Up, here, up. No, that just gives you the, go back. So you can get the 990, and it'll have a list of all the awards that foundation gave you, and it'll have a little write-up, one sentence about what it was that they funded. Capital, building, it'll be really short, but it'll give you an idea. Or you can call up the development director or the grant writer of that institution and ask them, could you tell me what this was for? Or you could call the foundation and ask them, but they don't have to give you any of that information. So it's good to be nice all the time. We're out of time. I entertain any other questions. I didn't quite make it to the end of the list. But I hope that, how organizations can improve on their evaluations, that is to actually contract with a consultant who's an expert, evaluator. Identify expert, we have an evaluation unit on campus through the College of Education. They are the external evaluator for many of the grants on campus. Or an external evaluator is much better than an internal evaluator. And in terms of grantsmanship, in terms of consulting, I have done both. The difference is, I loved that question, is that when I go as a consultant, they kiss my feet. And I show up in an organization, they love me, they'll drop everything that they're doing, and they want to help me. And when you're inside an organization, you get treated in the exact opposite way, because they see you all the time, and they have their own workload, and you actually accommodate with everyone else's schedule to make yourself available when it's convenient for them. So that's the difference. But any other questions, or how about closing comments? Was this helpful? Did this fill in the gaps for you? Yeah, the stuff you did online, was that helpful to see how you can look for information?
Especially like looking at different individual grants and their proposal blurb.
Okay. Also, I showed you on our site that you can go to, well, you can go to our library website. I'm not sure how to get there. And we have in our institutional repository all the grants that the libraries has applied for. And the full proposals are there. There's actually one for museums that we wrote in combination with the HARN. We didn't get it. I helped prepare the proposal. It was to do an inventory of Asian collections in Florida, but it didn't get funded. So,
You may have, I'm trying to remember whether I saw this online or not, but what percentage of grants you write do you expect to get funded?
me?
Or, well, what's a good rule of thumb? Let me put it that way.
Professionals, I think, mine is really high. My ratio is really high because we do the feasibility at the front end, and we never write unless we really have. So doing the timeline and the budget helps you see whether it's worth doing the proposal or not. I can't explain that process other than to tell you it's obvious. So if you're going to spend $100 to get one person to come to a lecture, $100 per person, it's going to cost that much for this lecture, then don't apply. That's a ridiculous amount of money. So once you do the timeline and the budget, you see whether they go together or not, and it makes sense. If it's stupid to you, it's going to be really stupid to the reader. My ratio is really high. Because I can choose to kill a project, and it's like a gut feeling. Intuitively, I know it's bad, 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 bad. You know, there's not enough time to finish it. The idea is weak. Based on what they funded prior to this, the agency isn't going to be open to this idea. It's too innovative. They don't have the tolerance for this kind of innovation. Don't do it. So for me, I'm about 80%.
And what happened at the HARN?
I didn't write it. Meaning I wasn't in full control.
Okay.
When we're in full control of the it's about 80%. And of the 80%, since I've been here, I think 100% was full funded. Of the ones that we got full funding. So that's really high.
But it does sound like, and I'm thinking about my own practice and those of the people that I know, the academics. I mean, we sort of throw them out there and hope that something grows. It sounds like you
we
cut them
have a
off
system.
early before you.
Yeah, I have a system of being able to determine whether to go or not go. And people listen to me. But also my experience on both sides of the equation of giving money and receiving money is that it's not the number of proposals that it's not a ratio, but I think the old school of professors applying for funds and doing it based on number of proposals and the rate of return, I don't see that. So I really limit the ones that we do to those that will be done really well. And then when you read it, you see, how could they not fund this? You almost embarrass them into, so for instance, the two that we did in July for St. Augustine and the map collection, do you know that it's the anniversary of St. Augustine's establishment as the oldest city in the United States in the year 2014? So you put that in the first sentence to celebrate the oldest city in the country. Okay, how could they not fund this? It's embarrassing. So you almost embarrass them into funding you.
Yeah,
If you have that kind of a hook.
Yeah.
If you have an anniversary that's coming up that's significant on an international level, and you want to make documents or materials available that are not available right now or accessible to researchers, then you have too many reasons why this should get funded. If you only have one reason why something should be funded, then you're in trouble. But if you've got 10 different reasons for why someone would want to fund this, because your partners are extraordinary and they've given you letters of support and they've been funded by that agency before, so that you almost get to the point where when they read it, they can't help but fund it. And I get the sense when we're writing a proposal that there's not enough in it to force the reviewers to give us the award. And then I'll say, we shouldn't do this because I'm losing the trust of the people that I work with if we apply and we don't get, and we apply and we don't get, then nobody wants to work with me. But right now, we have so many proposals that are funded in the libraries that now people don't want to work with me because everybody's on a project. You know, they're working a project because we got funded for it. Our newest one was National Science Foundation. We were awarded to create, it's called Gaming Against Plagiarism, to create a game. Did I talk about we got fully funded.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's great.
$298,000 to create an electronic game that makes students aware of what is plagiarism and how to avoid it. And that could be the first module for a whole bunch of different games that are all ethics related for science and math and engineering. So, yes. Very happy about that. Any closing comments? You want to make me feel good about something? Oh, yes. It's been a long day. No? We're good? Okay, kill it.